ועכשיו, לאות יקיר הריבונות.
And now to the awards. I think we have to start with the foundation, because the Judea and Samaria is the backbone of the land of Israel, the very core of the land of the Jewish people. And we have to do everything in our power to realize the ownership of the Jewish people. It is not our only right, it is our obligation. Jewish history has imposed on our generation the great mission of the return of the Jewish people to the inheritance of our forefathers. These are big words, these are important words written by Uri Elitzur, who wrote infinite number of articles, and he was the one who led and promoted and channeled and mentored many politicians and authors and leaders to that belief in sovereignty. I would like to call upon Member of Knesset Elitzur to accept the award for the Elitzur family. He was the first to write about sovereignty in Judea and Samaria. He's always been a friend to Women in Green from 2011 to this day. Please, Mr. Ariel, on behalf of the Elitzur family. Awards. Okay, where's the Elitzur family? Here they are. So but it's also an award. I would just like to say a few words. Uri wrote and talked of sovereignty close to 30 years ago. And when he talked of this, he was always attacked from the right and from the left. It doesn't seem possible. It seems crazy, but he continued and persisted, and it was clear to him. And it was clear to him that that would be the solution and that would be the direction to take. I'm not going to elaborate on it. He gave different groundings for this, but it is, well known that for many years before it started happening, he foresaw this, not because he was a prophet, but because he was wide and he knew how to analyze situations. He knew how to forecast processes. And when he was sick 3 years or so ago, I asked him, what would you like to do? Would you like us to do things together? Would you like us to take hikes together, to travel together? It was quite clear that, without us talking, we knew that he didn't have much time. And he said, I have one more mission that I have to fulfill, and that is to somehow bring in that idea of sovereignty, that it would be, there will be a consensus. And he talked to many key figures. He wrote a lot about it. And I think this was quite miraculously, since that time, in his last 3 years, it became part of public discourse. And it was no longer something crazy, something up in the air. It was something that everyone was talking about. It became a feasible option. And I think that is the main award or medal that he's receiving today. So thank you so much. I would just like to ask again, can we just dim the lights, because we can't really see the audience. We don't need them. Thank you so much. It's difficult to talk after Yael. It's difficult for me. Uri, at least for those who worked with him, we used to call him Uriyahu Yechiel. That is his real full name, because, just to differentiate between the two Uri, because when we would say Uri, the two Uris would, turn around. And he was Uriyahu Yechiel, and I was Uri. And Uri was my mentor, my teacher. He took me from Mishor Adumim, brought me to Gush Emunim in order to work in the settlement unit that he established. And I see my friend Yossi here as well, and some others as well. And we had that right. We were fortunate enough to establish dozens of settlements in the land of Israel. It's a great merit. It is a special merit. It was a special generation after the Yom Kippur War, because until that time, most of us, not all of us, slumbered. And I think that war was a wake-up call for everybody. It's very moving to be here with you today and to have this opportunity to award this medal to Yael and to her children and grandchildren. And I think there's no one more worthy than Uri, my mentor. And it is even more moving because I want to say to Nadia and to Judith and to all of you, if I may, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. We are lucky to be alive. We thank God that He has brought us to this time. And using just simple Hebrew terms, and when we talk about sovereignty in the state of Israel, we shouldn't take it lightly at all. I don't, agree with you, Yael, if I may. It's not a miracle. It's all a result of hard work. And Uri, our brother, led this process. And I think we are all continuing on his path. And even if we are still not the majority, we still have a majority to apply sovereignty on Area C in Judea and Samaria. And this is exactly what we have to do at this time. Uri wrote that without Jerusalem there will be no Tel Aviv, without Temple Mount we will not be able to exist. Now, he did not write the Western Wall because he knew how to make the distinction, that very clear distinction. Because again, in the reality that we are at the bottom and they're on top, that is not reasonable, it's not logical, it's not Jewish, and it has to change quickly in our times. The reality in which an Israeli minister cannot go to Temple Mount under the directive of the Prime Minister, that cannot be. We will not accept this. One can say many things about Uri. We can read out so many little things that he wrote. I would like to read something else, if I may. This is what he wrote years ago. We have to start from the foundations. Judea and Samaria is the backbone of the land of Israel, the very heart, the very core of the territories of the Jewish people throughout the generations. And we are obligated to exert every effort to realize the ownership of the Jewish people and its sovereignty over its lands. It is not our right, it is our obligation. That is what Uri wrote. And I think these things are becoming almost tangible and feasible, and I would like to end with something very relevant. I think we would like to extend our blessings to our Prime Minister, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu. And we will wish him, and we will We will wish him that, as is the custom among leaders and between the US President and the Israeli Prime Minister, usually we like to say, don't surprise us. And in this sense, I would like to ask of you, Prime Minister, please do not surprise the US President. Say to him, we have brought before you the law of Ma'ale Adumim first, and we wish and we plan on annexing the entire Judea and Samaria.